Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here along with
Seth V.
and welcome to Knife AQ episode 161, the knife series where we are going to answer all your questions, sharp or dull. This week, we're pondering, what does it take for a knife to be heirloom quality? All right, everyone, welcome to the show. If you're unfamiliar with it, what we do is we answer your questions, hence the FAQ in the name of the show, the aforementioned show. If you have a question and you want to have a shot at it being answered on camera, just leave it in the comments section below. We leaf through those and pick out some ones we think are going to be good to talk about. Thomas is still on breaks. We got Tom and Josh behind the camera filling in today. Hey, guys. And in that same spirit, Seth and I are going to tackle one big question this week instead of the normal multiple question format. So here we go. John Hughes asks us, what qualities make an heirloom knife essentially worth passing down? I have a large collection of knives, thanks/blame to DCA and KnifeCenter, but nothing in terms of a knife that is special in my heart to pass down to my child. Is it the cost, blade steel, aesthetics, limited availability, traditional vibe, etc., that makes a knife, quote, heirloom worthy? Like the Buck 119. Nothing special there, but feels like an heirloom knife to me. I need to buy one of those, by the way. Thanks. Well, first, right off the bat, we do have to issue one correction. The Buck 119 is very special. In fact, it's in the name of the knife. It's the Buck 119 special. This was a fun question. Seth and I have both been kind of pondering it on our own. We've each got some thoughts.
It's a deep one.
It's a deep one. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay.
I'd like you to tell us how you respond to this question. Where did your mind go?
Well, the first thing I tried to figure out for myself was what defines heirloom. You know, I think it gets used as a marketing term a fair bit. Heirloom quality, implying something that's going to outlast you, or you know, it's used in aspirational types of goods to make you feel like it's going to be so special you're going to want to pass it on.
Almost like an investment in the future, jewelry and such.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe to get you to spend a little extra more on something extra special. And honestly, I do think that being extra special, being limited, being of high quality is all a part of the constellation that makes up what defines an heirloom quality thing. So I guess I'm gonna go into each one of those directions and explore a little bit. The first knife I thought of, or maybe not even a specific knife, but like an archetype, is something that you connect with. Presumably you're going to want to pass this on to children. So you want to share something of yourself with them. So maybe a knife that you connect with, and then getting it in an elevated, special, even limited edition version.
Yeah, bouncing off of that real quick, I would agree that like the desire to pass a particular thing down, that emotional connection, makes it a great thing to pass down, but I don't know that it necessarily means that thing is heirloom quality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll get to more of that later, but I just wanted to interject that there since you mentioned the emotional aspect, and so did our questioner here, John Hughes. So.
It's going to be a philosophical one today.
It is a little bit of that, Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
Well, we'll skip right to this knife. This is the Spyderco Endura. Yeah, this is the Endura. Almost said Indela there. The Endura is the biggest one of the kind of Seki City backlock family. Technically, I think the longest lasting. I think the series launched with the Endura back in the 90s, I want to say.
Well, we can check and see. Keep talking.
Sure, here, while you look that up. This version is a KnifeCenter exclusive. It's got black packerwood handles and a Damascus blade with a VG10 core. And this is a special edition. You know, it's elevated in looks, in feel, the way that it's got full steel liners from edge to edge. It's a little weightier. It's a little sturdier than the standard version. It ditches all of the regular kind of plastic construction for this nicer and also arguably much longer lasting style of construction.
And the packerwood handles there are with that too. You get like that heirloom look, that classic look of something that is older than you perhaps, but being a stabilized laminate, it's, going to last longer than just a piece of wood,
right.
a bit of wood.
It's not going to work, not going to crack unless you smack it.
It's like, it still can, but it's way less susceptible to susceptible to it than the natural. I just want to, we don't want to deal in absolutes here.
True. I've never seen one crack, but I've also never dropped a bowling ball on it. But
Right.
yeah, this version just looks nicer. If the Endura is a kind of, if you found it to be a useful knife, I think it could be really cool to show that to the next generation by giving them a special version of it.
I like that because the first knife that my dad bought me was a Camillus Boy Scout whittling knife, and he has a Camillus same 3-blade pattern from back in his days as a Boy Scout, and there is something special to that. There is something special to that for sure. I can confirm. I'm good. I can confirm that. So Spyderco does their product numbers sequentially from when they were first released. The Endura is C10.
Okay, that's an early one.
The Delica is C11. So the Endura did come first.
Cool.
Cool.
That's another thing. I guess moving from that, Heirloom isn't just about moving forward, passing on. It's also about looking back a little bit. I think when we talk about heirloom goods, we want them to have a connection with history.
Yeah, a bit of a story. Yeah.
A story to them. And the Endura has that. It is the latest. This is the Endura 4, so it's the fourth evolution of the series. It's been tweaked so much over the years. And I think we enjoy that as collectors, as people who are into the history, the story of knives. We like knowing that the design has lasted long enough to get here, which means maybe it's going to continue into the future.
Okay. All right. Good.
Sweet.
Next up.
Because
I want you to like unload it all because I'm going to come in at the end and throw a bomb.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Nice. Next up, I think we should go for something that does have history, that is a little bit looking backwards, rooted in the past, but that is very, very fancy. And that is this knife from Randall. This is one of
really any Randall too. It's not even just this one.
This one's a bit extra fancy with the horn handles and kind of extra stacked handle.
It's really nice.
It's very nice.
It's really nice.
But Randall,
there's something about a Randall. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
No, I mean Randall's a company. I don't know when they started exactly, but they've been making knives this same way for so long, and they haven't changed because they haven't had to. It really only takes picking up a Randall to realize why they still have the following that they do, that they still command the prices that they do, that the wait list for them is still so long.
Even though they're not using cutting edge materials for today, in terms of today's industry, so to speak.
Yeah, they're proven materials. They've lasted this long, and it's more about how they're being manipulated and changed into the very special objects, the very beautiful knives that they are now. This design, too, I think has a bit of old school character to it. The flare to this guard is a bit old-fashioned. Today's modern hunting knives, like if you look at Buck's lineup from today versus Buck's lineup from yesteryear that they're still kind of making, the guards have shrunk, the trends have changed a little bit. So there's something, this knife is a bit of living history in a way.
As is the 119, though, as you mentioned.
True.
World War II era.
True.
Introduction on that knife.
And it's nice to be able to pass along something extra special. It only takes looking at this and feeling it to realize what a special knife it is, and that is going to be felt by whoever it gets handed down to.
Sure.
The moment they pick it up.
Sorry for my cough today.
Sorry. You can sip your tea.
What else you got?
Yeah. This is the Pena front flipper Zulu spear. This one I picked because it's mixing a little bit of the tradition, a little bit of knife history with where we're at today. These front flipper traditionals are, I don't know, can we call them kind of a trend of the last year or two, I'd say?
Front flipper traditionals specifically, the traditional aspect specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, Enrique's been doing them for a number of years now. So I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know if I would contain it to just this past year, but
yeah,
they're certainly popular.
Enrique's work is a big part of why
that is the case.
Why that
yeah, that's
exists.
true. That's true.
He, more than anybody else, proved that you could kind of maintain the perfect lines of a traditional folder while turning it into a one-hand opening, fidgety, front flippy type of knife. This is a custom version, and I'm glad we have just picked this up from Blade Show West, I think.
Texas.
Blade Show Texas.
Yeah,
yes.
So west of here, anyway.
Yeah, it is west of here. We don't usually have his work in stock, so it's kind of just an opportunity to show this knife off.
For sure.
But you know, the level of craftsmanship here is undeniable. If you're looking for, you know, if heirloom means to you something that is superlatively crafted, a custom knife from Enrique Pena meets that definition any day of the week. Easily. Yeah, the beautiful hand-rubbed satin, the just perfect symmetry to his grinds, the flawless operation. I mean, he's really a master of his craft. The details are all there, like the way the plunge, you know, even like the knife guide details, like the way that the plunge grind terminates just exactly where the edge starts. There are details to appreciate this on kind of so learned levels of knife making, but also just
even the uninitiated will pick that up and be pretty, you know, pretty impressed.
Yeah,
and that would probably be putting it mildly with the thing in their hands.
Yeah, and there's something you can feel here. The hand craftsmanship comes through, I think, and having something that has that warmth, it feels good to know that that's going to continue into the future.
For sure.
Something that's nice about that.
I'm sensing a trend here with all of your picks. They do all have a bit of, you know, apart from being elevated from a material standpoint, these aren't just like, you know, plastic handles or whatever. There's a bit of that history thread going through. And I can certainly see that's the case with your last one on the table here too.
Yeah, the Victorinox. This is the Pioneer X. This is happens to be our KnifeCenter exclusive version. But this is kind of just standing in for any Swiss Army knife, frankly. Now, one thing about Swiss Army knives, if you've carried them for years, if you carried one of them for years and years and years, you'll know that over time, as you sharpen it, the soft steel will the blade will shrink a little bit. And I do think that maybe does not meet the definition of heirloom quality in that it's not going to last for generations of people using it every single day. But I think you can pass on the tradition of carrying a Swiss Army knife. In fact, there's really no more commonly given knife than a Swiss Army knife. I think more Swiss Army knives are sort of passed down in that way than anything else.
Well, I mean, more Swiss Army knives are made and sold every year than anything else by such a wide margin. I bet you that would stand to be true.
And if you can pass along the habit of carrying a Swiss Army knife every day, that will definitely continue for generations because you really can't kick that habit.
Yeah, quite.
Once you get used to the utility of it, you know, like I said, the blade steel is nothing special, but the cutting geometry is there.
Well, and the ALOX versions, the aluminum handle scales on those do elevate them a bit.
Yeah,
for sure from the standard, you know, plastic handles.
Definitely. Yeah, this one is a little extra special. It's got the KnifeCenter engraving, this red Alex color. I believe you can only get from us in the U.S.
On this particular model.
On this model, yeah. Plus the Pioneer X has scissors, so you can save that blade.
There you go.
For a good video work.
Exactly. Cool. Well, I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
If you've, as long as I'm not cutting you off, you had any
No, I think my lecture time's done.
I kind of went a few different ways with this thought process until I got to the end and kind of changed my mind.
Okay, beautiful.
So I've got some things here on the table that we're gonna look at, but I'm not even sure what exactly I'm gonna pick up because we're just gonna feel this out as we go. So I did get back to what does heirloom quality really mean? And usually when I think of personally like heirloom quality, I usually associate it more often with furniture than anything else.
Okay.
And it's stuff that has been, used every day and is built so well that it can be used every day and then passed down to the next generation and possibly the next. And typically with furniture, especially the furniture that we're looking at today that might be a few generations old, there is a certain beauty and a style attached to it as well. So that kind of informs an aesthetic mindset there. But even like an old cast iron skillet is technically heirloom quality.
Yeah.
Even though there's nothing like inherently beautiful about a lump of cast iron, which, don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of cast iron. I have some pieces that belonged to my great-grandmother and use them, so I get it.
That's awesome.
But that's the thing. Those pans were used every day.
They're not expensive either.
Right.
Yeah.
True. But those pans were used every day. My parents have furniture that belonged to, my parents' grandparents and was used every day and is still being used. I'm going to sit here and argue to you, dear viewer, and you, dear Seth, there's no such thing as an heirloom quality knife.
Ooh.
Inherently, every knife is designed to be used up.
Okay.
To one degree or another. Like the Swiss Army knife is going to get used up a lot sooner than, the S35 VN or the Magna Cut on a new version of the Chris Reeve Sebenza right here. But inherently, every knife is designed to be used up. Now, folks like you or me that have enough knives to last several lifetimes without using any of them up.
A new knife for every cut.
That's not going to actually be a practical problem.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing as an heirloom quality knife. I will say there is such a thing as an heirloom style knife. At least that's the conceit I'm going to maintain for the duration of this video to make a point.
Interesting.
So,
wait. I want to kind of articulate that a different way to make sure I'm understanding it.
Yep.
So you compared it to furniture, and you would say there are heirloom quality pieces of furniture.
Yes.
Because you can use a piece of furniture without using it up.
Yes.
Sitting on it doesn't dull the edge. So to speak.
Right. And things may need like repair or tune up over time, and that can be true for knives as well. And that doesn't eliminate it being, in my mind, like heirloom quality necessarily.
But the edge is disposable in a way. And they're not disposable. It's limited. It's something that has to be refreshed.
Every blade has a limit to its life.
Okay.
Taken to an extreme, like you will eventually sharpen away every bit of steel there.
Sure.
Using it as a knife. Now, if it is an emotional thing, as mentioned by John Hughes, as alluded to you earlier, I'm not saying that a knife is not worth passing down.
Yeah.
But heirloom quality and item designed to be used up, I can't get those to mesh together in my head quite the same way.
I see where you're coming
from. You know what I mean?
So is there an heirloom quality hammer to kind of push it into the tool?
Possibly, just because. See, this I don't know.
We're not hammer experts?
Because this is not the Hammer Center.
Right.
That's down the street. A hammer will eventually wear out, yes. And handles can crack, but handles can be replaced. So perhaps not. I'm not.
Maybe that was a bad example of a tool.
Like an old hand saw or something like that?
Yeah, like is there an heirloom quality saw? I think the obvious answer to that would be no.
Well, based on the criteria I laid out here, I would say no.
Okay.
There can be fantastic quality stuff that has lasted generations. But how often has that saw been used?
Right.
Right? So it's getting into the weeds. I grant you this is not a perfect comparison here, but like in my mind, like an heirloom quality knife can range which I'm here arguing there's no such thing, but that can range from anything like this Karesuando knife right here with beautiful, like historic type construction.
Yeah.
It's built really well. There's nothing about this that feels like it's going to fall apart. And it's gorgeous. And it has kind of the same things that attract people to vintage heirloom quality furniture. Like that age, that history, that proven construction. But you know what else is heirloom quality, if we're going to just use that term, disregarding the point I'm making here? This cold steel drop forged boot knife is heirloom quality. This is the cast iron pan of the knife world. Like, it's drop forged, it's a single piece. Yes, the edge is going to wear out, but there's nothing to even come loose or need tuning over the years except that edge. Like,
and you're mostly using the tip. Anyway.
And you're mostly using the tip anyway, and that's going to break off when you get a little too happy with it. A Becker, my BK9 is heirloom quality because this is designed to be used and not break on you and last. This could be handed down to my offspring. So it's heirloom quality in that respect, in that it is something that should outlast me, but inherently it's still a finite tool, like a disposable tool. Yeah, we could go to extremes like this. Yes, eventually the wooden furniture will like maybe rot or whatever, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to communicate out of my head anyway.
There's furniture still in use from hundreds of years ago, and the same is not true of knives. 100-year-old knife.
There might be like a few exceptions, but
not in use though. I mean, maybe like a French chef's knife. I've seen a couple really old French chef's knives still in use.
And that's the question too, is like, how long has that knife been sitting not being used to allow it to still being used today, 100 years later, or whatnot?
That's an interesting take. I like where you went with it. I think my answers were all about sharing my or your love and appreciation of knives with the next generation. Giving something with history, giving something that shows off spectacular craftsmanship, shows off what knives are and can be and how good they can be.
I agree with all that and love all of that. But it's like, to me, it's a parallel track to heirloom quality.
But knives are meant to be used.
Yes,
exactly. And if that's what you're passing on, then I think by your definition, it could be anything or nothing.
Yeah. Excellent. I did want to show this LT Wright Gen 5 here as well. Like, this is another example of like a non-ornate, like a simple tool built really well that's going to last a long time. And it's going to last extra long for me because I have so many other knives to use too. But like, even this, like, it'll get used up one day if it's really being used. And boy, wouldn't that be like the stories it could tell at the end of that too. Like, I would really love,
Yeah.
This is a question without a clear-cut answer, however. So this is one where, again, we got to throw it to the comment section. What do you folks think? Do you think is your thought process more along Seth's lines or more along mine, or somewhere completely different? Please let us know down below. Maybe we'll get a chance to feature some of your responses in a future video as well.
I'm looking forward to reading the comments on this one.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. I'm sort of left with more questions now at the end of the video than when I started.
Yeah, I mean, it was real fun to think about, but like I said, I had some cogent points I thought before, but then I was like, no, I don't think it exists.
Yeah.
And then I had to scrap everything, even though I already had like the knives pulled out. I was gonna show for those. So throw it to the comments, folks. Let us know what you think. We are going to end today, of course, as we always do, with our final question of the day, which is, of course, our most serious question of the day, which today comes from Free State Fellow. Most serious question. When a package says, do not use knife to open, what are you picking off the KnifeCenter shelves instead? I feel like this is they're baiting me. This is purely an invitation for me.
They know what's coming.
To bring out the Sword Carcass Splitter.
Not a knife.
I'm a surgeon with this bad boy, but no, I'm more of a butcher. But anyway, hey, good. That's what it's made for, actually. I'm going to go with the Sword Carcass Splitter. What are you going with? Notice you didn't offer your own suggestion, Free State Fellow. Let us know in the comments. Thanks, everyone, for the questions. They do keep this channel or this show going, of course. If you've got one, make sure to leave it in the comments below. And again, let us know your thoughts on what heirloom quality is in the knife world and what it takes for a knife to be heirloom quality. If you want to get your hands on, well, I guess you can get your hands on some of these knives. We don't have any old Sebenza 21s anymore, but we'll leave links to what we can in the description below so you can check out what we've got in stock over at KnifeCenter.com. And of course, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program, which means you can earn some free money when you buy one of these knives today, and you can use that to spend on a future purchase. I am David C. Anderson. That is
Seth V.
And thanks again to Tom and Josh for keeping the camera gear running for us on these episodes. Don't worry, Thomas should be back real soon, we think. We hope. We're signing off, folks. See you next time.